Good morning friends, welcome back to Parnika tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss about interface in Java. So I sincerely request everyone to watch the complete video for better understanding. In the last video, I have discussed about the abstract class. Before discussing about the abstract class, I have discussed the abstract method. What is an abstract method? A method will have the only a declaration. The implementation will not be provided. Whereas a concrete method will have the declaration and the implementation also. But coming to the abstract method, it does not have the implementation. So such kind of methods we'll call it as an abstract method. A class having at least one abstract method we'll call it as an abstract class. For an abstract class, we cannot create any object. We need to extend with the help of a class. So some class need to inherit this abstract class, and that class, the child class, should have the implementation of all the abstract methods which is there in the parent class. Similarly, an interface is also an abstract type. So interface is defined as an abstract type used to specify the behavior of a class. An interface in Java is just a blueprint of a class, how the class should be. Am I right? It does not provide any implementations, all these things. Okay? And interface is mainly useful in Java is to provide the multiple inheritance. And I already told you that multiple inheritance in Java cannot be achieved with the class concept. You need to use the interface. So to do that one or to achieve the multiple inheritance, a Java have the interface concept. A Java interface contains static variables and abstract methods. It does not have any instance variables and it does not have any concrete methods. I think you know what is an instance variables and what is a concrete method. An interface only have the static variables and the abstract methods. I think you know what is an abstract method. A method which have the declaration but no implementation. So you just tell what are the variables and what are the methods are there. Now to create an interface, you need to use the keyword called interface. You need to use the keyword called interface and then interface name. And then you will have the variable. Suppose let me write int p is equal to 10. Okay. And then I will write void display and then void some method show, like that. Some methods are there. Now this is the way you can declare an interface name, and then you will have the static variables and abstract methods. See, this method is having only the declaration, and even the show method has only the declaration. There is no implementation for the display method and the show method. And such kind of methods we'll call them as an abstract method. In an abstract class, whenever we have the abstract methods, because in an abstract class you can have the concrete methods and the abstract methods also. For an abstract method, we will use the keyword called abstract. Am I right? But in the interface, you no need to provide the keyword called abstract. By default, all the methods are the abstract methods. So you no need to exclusively use the abstract keyword. Similarly, I told that a Java interface contains only static variables. Normally in a class, to have a static variable, we will use the keyword called static and then the data type and then variable name and whatever the value you want to assign. If you want to assign, if you don't want to assign, no problem. But in the interface, by default, all the variables are static variables. So you no need to exclusively mention the keyword called static. So for variables, you will not provide the static. For the methods, you will not provide the abstract because by default, they are the static variables and the abstract methods. Now, what I will do is that I will write a program to have a one class which inherit this interface. Okay. Similarly, what I will do, I will have a one interface, another interface will derive this interface. All these concepts in detail I will discuss with the help of a a simple Java program. Now what I will do is that I will have an interface A. Okay, in the interface I will have few variables. Suppose let me write int p having the value 10. So as I told you earlier, this is a static variable. Okay, this is a static variable. Let me have one abstract method. So I will write void display. It will have only the method declaration. So such kind of methods we'll call them as abstract methods. However, for a static variable and then the abstract method, we will not use the any keywords called static and abstract. By default, they are the static variables and abstract methods. Okay, now what I will do, I will have one class called B which derives or inherits the properties of the interface A, because for this interface A we cannot create any object. If you cannot create any object, am I right, what is the purpose? Because it just give a blueprint of a class, how the class should be. Okay, these display method which have only the declaration, somewhere you need to have the implementation, otherwise what is the use of it? Am I right? So one class should inherit the interface so that for this class you can create an object, okay, or in this class you can have the implementation of this abstract method. All these things we can do. Okay, so class B, whenever, remember one thing, suppose let's take that there is a class A, this is a class, here this is a class A and another class is there B. If it wants to inherit the properties of a class A, then we use the keyword called extends. Am I right? Between the two classes, if you want to have an inheritance concept, we will use the extend. Similarly, between the two interfaces, suppose let's take that interface I1 is there, similarly interface I2 is there. Now interface I2 want to inherit the properties of interface I1, then also we will use the keyword called extends and then I1. Okay, so between the two classes, if you want to have the inheritance, then you will use the extends. Between the two interface also you will use the extends. But let's take that there is one interface and there is a class. Now this class want to derive the properties of interface, then you need to use the keyword called implements, because it is implementing, because nothing is implemented here. Am I right? Because all the methods are abstract methods. These methods does not have the implementation. So in this class B, you will implement them. So that's why we use the keyword called implements. Now once you write the implements, all the members such as variables and methods will come to this class B or to the child class. Okay, so you will write class B implements A. Okay, now let's take the, as it is a class, it can have the concrete methods, it can have the instance variables, it can have the static variables, all these things can have. But when it comes to the interface, it can have only the abstract methods and static variables. It cannot have the concrete methods, it cannot have the instance variables. Now let me have a method called show. Okay, it will have the implementation also. I will write system.out.println. Let me write show method. Let me end with a semicolon. Let me complete the method. Now if you want to have the implementation, not if you are implementing an interface by some class, then always you should provide the implementation of all the methods which are there in this interface. And remember one important point, you need to provide the access specifier as public. Okay, you need to provide the access specifier as public. If it does not provide the access specifier as a public, when you're implementing this abstract method called display, it will show an error for you. So you need to provide the access specifier as a public, and then return type, and then method name. Okay, then you need to have the implementation, whatever you want to implement. Suppose let me write a statement. Okay, system dot out dot println. Okay, and I'm writing display method. Display method. Okay, let me close this method called display, and let me close the class called b. I hope it is visible for you. So what I have done, what are the abstract methods are there in this interface A, I have provided the implementation. Here you have only one abstract method. If you have multiple abstract methods, for all the abstract methods you need to provide the implementation in the child class. Now let me have the driver class or the main class. Okay, suppose let me write enter exam ex. Okay, enter ex I'm writing. So as it is a main class or the driver class, whatever the class name you are giving, like enter ex, the file name should also have the enter-ex with an extension called Java. Okay, now in this class I will write the main method. So public static void main. Okay, and then you will have a string array. Okay, now what I will do, I need to create an object for this class B, because I cannot create an object for this interface A. Okay, and then what I will do, I will write class name object name is equal to new class name, and then using this object OB I can access the method called show. Similarly, I can access the method called display. Okay, and then even I can display the p value. How can I do? As it is a static method, I can access it with the help of the class name, or sorry, here it is an interface. So I can write system dot out dot println. Okay, println p value I want to display. So I will write a dot p. Okay, let me close this one, a dot p, and let me close the main method, and let me close the class called enter-ex. Now once I invoke the show method with the help of an object created for the class B, then it will display the output as show method. So this program first will give the output as show method, and then you are accessing the display method now using the object OB. So here there is a display method, implementation is there, so it will give the output as display method, and then you are accessing the static variable called p using the interface name, so a dot p. So this will give the output as 10. So this is the way you can have the implementation for the abstract methods which are declared in an interface. Okay, and remember one important point, the access specifier should be always public. We have various access specifiers such as public, protected, private, default. If it does not provide anything, by default it will consider as a default. All these things I will discuss at the appropriate time. Okay, now what I will do is that I will erase this entire program, and I will have two interfaces. Okay, how can we derive one interface from another one? Then that implementation I will provide with the help of a particular class. Interface A, and interface A, let me take only one method called method 1. So void method 1 only have the declaration. So that's why it is an abstract method, and you know that by default all the methods in the interface are abstract methods. Now let me have an interface B which inherits or derive the properties of interface A, then you need to use the keyword called extends. As I said earlier, from a class, if you're deriving another class, then extends. From an interface, another interface, then extends. From a class is deriving an interface properties, then you need to use the implements. Okay. Now, what will be there? I want to have one more method declaration. So, method 2. So, now this interface B will have the method 1 which is deriving from the interface A, and it has own method called method 2. Okay. Now what I will do is that I will have a class C. I will have a class C which derives the properties of interface B. So what I need to write here? Implements. Okay, because it is implementing the method. So class C implements the interface B, because interface B is a child interface for the parent interface A. So you know that interface B will get all the properties from the interface A. So now what I will do, I will implement the methods called method M1 and method M2. And you need to know that access specifier should be public. So public void method 1. And then I am writing system.out.println method 1. Something I want to write here. Okay. So that implementation is completed. So I have done the method 1. And similarly, access specifier of the method 2 is public. Return type is void method 2. And then let me write here system.out.println method 2. Okay, then I will close the class. Now class C, let me not have any methods because of the space issue. Okay, just class C is implementing the methods which are there in the interface and interface B. Now what I will do, I will have a driver class or the main class. So let me take the same one, interex. Okay, you know that the file name should be interex.java. And then I will have the main method. So public static void main string array. Array name I can write it as AR anything. Okay, but the data type should be string. And now what I need to do, I cannot create an object for the interface B and also for interface A. However, I can create an object for the class C. So I will write C some object, any name I can give, is equal to new class name. Okay, then using this object OB, I can access the method 1, okay, and also the method 2. And let me close the main method and let me close the class called interex. If I compile and run the program, as you are calling the method method 1, it will give the output as method 1. And again you are calling the method 2. There is an implementation called system.out.println method 2. So you will get the output as method 1, method 2. So this is the way you can derive an interface from another interface, and those implementation you can have in one class. Okay, so all these concepts I will discuss in detail in the desktop and show the output for you all. Now let me have the interface A, and interface A having the methods 1 and then method 2. So these two methods are the abstract methods. Now let me have a class B which derives the properties of interface A. So you need to use the keyword called implement. So here class B class B is the child class, whereas A is the parent interface. Let me write it as parent interface. Now what I want to do here is that I want to implement all the abstract methods which are there in the interface A, and you need to use the keyword called public. So public void method name, which is method 1. Let me write the implementation, system.out.println, okay, and then I will write here I am method 1. Now let me end this method. Similarly, I will write public void method 2, and then let me write system.out.println, and I will write I am method 2, and let me close the method 2. Let me close the class B. Now I will have a main class having the name called interex, because you have saved this program as interex.java. Now let me have the main method. So public static void main, and then I will write string args. Okay, it is a string array. Now what we have discussed, for an interface we cannot create an object. We will try. Okay, how to create an object? Class name, here that is an interface. So A, some object, let me write it as OB new A. Then let me close the method, let me close the class, and now let me open the command prompt. Okay, let me write it as cmd. You can see the command prompt. Now what I will do, I will go to the desktop, because you know that all our programs are there in the desktop in the folder called Java programs. Now I need to compile the program. So I will write java c interex.java. Okay, see, you got an error. A is an abstract, cannot be initiated, so you cannot create an object for it. Okay, so for an interface we cannot create an object. For the class B, can we create an object? Yes, we can create an object. Okay, so I will write B is equal to OB new class B. Okay, then I can access the method 1 and I can access the method 2. So this program will give you the output as I am method 1, I am method 2. Okay, let me go to the command prompt, clear the screen, and let me again compile the program. This time there are no errors. Now let me run the program java interex. See, I got the output as I am method 1, I am method 2. Now we will see few things. If it does not give the public, what will happen? Okay, we said that whenever we are providing the implementation for the methods which are there in the interface, in one of the class you are implementing them, I told you that we need to provide the access specifier as public. If we does not do it, what will happen? Let me save the program and go to the command prompt. Let me again compile the program. Okay, see, you got an error. Method 2 in B cannot implement method 2 in A. Attempting to assign weaker access privilege was public. Similarly, same error you are getting. So the point is that when you are implementing them, you need to provide the access specifier as public. Then only it will work. Now we will see another thing. Can I remove this method 1 implementation? Meaning is that one of the method only I am implementing. There are two methods called method 1 and method 2, but however I am implementing only one. Is it allowed or not? We will see. Okay, so what I will do, I will clear the screen. Let me compile the program. Okay, see, you got an error. Okay, B is not an abstract and does not override abstract method 1. So in the interface A, you have two abstract methods called method 1 and method 2. For those two methods, you need to provide the implementation in the child class. However, we have not provided the implementation for method 1 in the child class called B. So that's why we are getting an error. I hope you got the point. Now what I will do is that I will change the program little bit. Let me delete entire thing. Let me write the program again. I will write an interface A, this interface A having one abstract method called method 1. Similarly, I have an interface B which want to derive the properties of interface A. Then we need to use the keyword called extends. From a class, another class extends. From an interface, another interface extends. From an interface, one class want to derive, then you need to use the implements. Okay. Now I will write void method 2. Now this interface B having the two methods called method 1 and method 2, because interface B is implementing the or inheriting the properties of interface A. Now let me have a class C which implements interface B, because already the interface A properties are there with the interface B. So I will just implement the interface B. Okay. Then here what I need to do, I need to provide the implementation for both the methods. So I need to write public is an access specifier and void is the return type and method name is method 1. Now I need to provide the declaration or the implementation. So system.out.println I am method 1 in class C. Okay. Let me close this one. Let me close it. Okay. Now I will copy the same thing. I will just modify few things. Okay. Instead of method 1 here I will write method 2. Here instead of method 1 I will write the method 2. Now let me close the class C and now let me have the main class has inter ex and I need to provide the main method. So public static void main. Okay, I will have string array which is array name is args, and then I am writing what I am writing here. I need to create an object for the class C. So I will write C some object new class C. Okay, using this object can I access the method 1? Yes, I can do it. Using this object can I access the method 2? Yes, I can do it. Okay. Now let me close the main method. Let me close the main class. Okay. Now what I will do, I will clear the screen and compile the program again. Look at it. Is there any errors? No. So I can run the program by giving the command called java inter ex. See, I got the output as I am method 1 in class C, I am method 2 in class C. So this is the way you can do the interfaces. If you still have any doubts related to this concept, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.